There is a version of you the world should never fully access. Not because you are fake. Not because you are ashamed. And not because everyone around you is evil. But because the moment people get the full map of your inner world, they stop relating to you with innocence. They start relating to you with leverage. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you gave away too much? Not something dramatic. Not a confession that ruined your life. Just one small piece of yourself. A plan. A fear. A financial detail. An opinion about someone. And later, maybe weeks later, maybe months later, something shifted. The room felt different. The relationship felt less clean. Their tone changed. Their expectations changed. Or worse, they said something so precisely painful, it could only have come from something you once trusted them with. That feeling is not paranoia. It is pattern recognition. In a healthy world, vulnerability would always be met with care. In the real world, it is often archived. That is the part most people learn too late. Stoicism teaches restraint. Machiavelli teaches consequences. Put them together, and you begin to understand something uncomfortable but necessary. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is defense. Silence is discipline. Silence is power under control. And in this video, we are going to talk about 6 things you should keep buried deep, not because hiding is noble, but because not everything sacred should become public property. We'll go through 6 secrets that men reveal too casually: your next move, your real money, your deepest insecurity, your private judgments of others, your past transgressions, and the full scale of your ambition. And the last one matters most, because it is the one people destroy before it is even born. So if you have ever felt like the more honest you were, the more exposed you became, stay with me. Because this is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming harder to use. Underscore 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 underscore. 1. Never reveal your next move too early. Most people do not ruin their plans through laziness. They ruin them through exposure. They speak too soon. A man gets serious about changing his life. He starts thinking about leaving the job that drains him. He begins building something on the side. Maybe a business. Maybe a relocation. Maybe a new skill that could change his future in 12 months. At first, the energy is clean, private, focused, alive. Then he tells someone. Usually not because he is foolish. Because he is excited. Because he wants the plan to feel real. Because saying it out loud creates emotional relief. Because somewhere in him, he hopes the other person will look at him and say, "That's big. You should do it." Instead, what he gets is something softer and more destructive. "Are you sure? That sounds risky. I mean, I support you, but have you really thought it through? I just don't want to see you fail." And just like that, the energy changes. Not all at once. Not enough to notice in the moment. But enough to matter. The fire becomes discussion. The mission becomes a concept. The urgency becomes a conversation. This happens every day. A man decides he is going to get in shape, rebuild his finances, start a channel, write the book, end the relationship, change cities, learn the market, go back to school. Before the foundation is set, he lets other people walk through the construction site. They do not see the vision. They see exposed wires, unstable beams, dust, uncertainty. And they respond to what they see. That response enters him. This is why so many dreams do not die from external attack. They die from internal contamination. The Stoics understood that strength is often quiet in its earliest stages. A thing being built needs protection before it needs visibility. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, not to impress the crowd, but to keep his own mind from being invaded by noise. That matters. Because in the beginning, your plan does not need applause. It needs oxygen. And Machiavelli would tell you something even colder. Once your intention is visible, your resistance becomes visible too. The world now has time to react before your move is made. Some will doubt you. Some will subtly discourage you. Some will smile while quietly hoping you stay exactly where you are, because your change unsettles the hierarchy that makes them comfortable. That is how fake support works in adult life. It rarely looks like sabotage. It looks like concern. A lot of people do not want to stop you directly. They just want to slow you down enough that you remain recognizable. That is why your next move should often be experienced by others as a result, not a discussion. Not, I'm thinking about changing my life. But one day, I already did. That is what Julius Caesar understood at the Rubicon. Once the crossing happened, the debate was over. The move itself became the announcement. No room left for permission. No window left for interference. You do not owe the world early access to unfinished transformation. If the plan is real, build it in silence. Let it grow roots where no one can step on them. Let your discipline mature away from commentary. When the work is still fragile, privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is structure. So here is the lesson. Stop telling people what you are about to do. Tell them what got done. Because plans invite opinion. Results end conversation. And once you understand that, you begin to see why the next secret changes the emotional temperature of every relationship around you. Underscore 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 underscore. 2. Never reveal how much money you really have. The moment people know your true number, something subtle changes. They may still smile the same way. They may still call you brother, friend, partner, family. But a second layer enters the relationship. You stop being just a person. You become perceived capacity. And capacity changes how people interpret everything. You say no to paying for dinner, it becomes stinginess. You hesitate to help, it becomes selfishness. You set a boundary, it becomes greed. You choose not to rescue someone from the consequences of their choices, it becomes coldness. Why? Because once people know what you have, they do not respond only to who you are. They respond to what they believe should be available to them through you. This is one of the quietest ways relationships become distorted. A man works for years. He sacrifices. He takes risks nobody saw. He loses sleep, swallows pressure, keeps going when nobody claps. Eventually, he becomes financially stronger than the people around him. Maybe not rich in a flashy way, but stable, capable, secure. Then he tells the wrong person, or the wrong group, or the wrong family member. And from that point on, the relationship is no longer clean. Requests become more frequent. Expectations become less reasonable. Gratitude becomes shorter. Resentment becomes easier. The cruel part is this: even when you help, it often does not restore peace. It simply establishes a precedent. And once a precedent is established, refusal feels like betrayal. That is why wise men across history practiced controlled modesty. Not fake poverty. Not performative humility. Controlled modesty. Cosimo de' Medici understood this. Real power does not need to announce itself in a way that attracts unnecessary claims. The closer people feel to your resources, the more they begin rewriting your role in their lives. Now pause and think about modern life. You see this everywhere. A relative finds out you're doing well and suddenly every crisis has your name attached to it. A friend hears one detail about your savings and starts measuring your generosity against your balance sheet. A romantic partner begins confusing your financial stability with emotional obligation. Colleagues who once respected you now feel entitled to what you built. This is not always malicious. That is what makes it dangerous. It is often human nature mixed with pressure, comparison, envy, dependence, insecurity. But whether it is conscious or unconscious, the effect is the same. The truth about your finances reshapes the field. Stoicism asks you to distinguish what is yours from what belongs to the crowd. Your money is not just currency. It is stored life. Stored sacrifice. Stored time. Stored risk. If you expose all of it, you invite other people's emotions into something they did not help build. And Machiavelli would add the harder truth: once people can calculate your capacity, they can calculate how to morally pressure you. That is why the strongest financial posture is often quiet. Not deceptive. Not flashy. Not apologetic. Just quiet. Let people relate to your character, not your number. Because if someone only feels warm toward you when they believe your resources may someday become available to them, that is not loyalty. It is proximity to utility. Protecting your financial reality is not arrogance. It is how you preserve the possibility of genuine connection. And once you've seen how easily money changes perception, the next secret becomes even more serious. Because money changes expectations. But your deepest insecurity changes the weapons people can use against your soul. Underscore 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 underscore. 3. Never hand someone your deepest insecurity. There is a kind of honesty that feels intimate in the moment and expensive later. You know the moment I mean. The night gets quiet. The conversation gets real. Maybe someone opens up to you first. Maybe you've been carrying something for years and the atmosphere finally feels safe enough. You are tired of pretending you're fine. Tired of carrying the wound alone. So you say it. You say the one thing you almost never say. Maybe you admit you've always felt behind. Maybe you tell someone you fear being replaceable. Maybe you reveal the shame you still carry from childhood, failure, rejection, your body, your worth, your masculinity, your intelligence, your past. And in that moment, the disclosure feels healing. Because finally, someone knows. But the tragedy is not what happens immediately. The tragedy is what happens later. It sits in them. Even if they love you. Even if they mean well. Even if they never plan to hurt you. Because relationships change. Pressure comes. Resentment comes. Conflict comes. Power shifts. One day an argument happens, or a breakup, or a betrayal, or simply a moment where they need to regain emotional ground. And without fully planning it, they reach for precision. Not random insult. Precise insult. The kind that lands exactly where you bleed. That precision came from you. This is one of the hardest lessons adult men learn. The more detailed the map you give someone of your inner pain, the more accurately they can locate the nerve when things go dark. And darkness does come. Not in every relationship, but in enough of them that you should build your life with realism, not fantasy. Now this does not mean you must become emotionally dead. It means you must become emotionally disciplined. There is a difference. Stoicism never taught numbness. It taught mastery. The Stoic does not deny pain, he refuses to make pain the center of his identity. He works on it. Carries it. Studies it. Converts it. He takes his wound to the forge, not to the marketplace. Seneca understood that inner freedom requires inward labor. The man who must constantly be emotionally held by unstable people becomes dependent on structures that cannot protect him. But the man who learns to metabolize his pain privately begins turning weakness into mass. That is what real healing looks like. Not dramatic exposure. Transformation. It's the man who felt weak, then got strong in silence. The man who felt unworthy, then built standards. The man who felt invisible, then built presence. The man who felt broken, then became precise. The world respects scars more than open wounds. Scars tell a story without offering a handle. Wounds invite pressure. And Machiavelli would go one step further. In a world shaped by ego and self-interest, many people do not know how to carry your vulnerability without eventually using it to stabilize their own position. Not because they sat in a room plotting your destruction, but because under threat, humans reach for advantage. So what should you do instead? Take your deepest insecurity somewhere sacred. Into solitude. Into prayer. Into training. Into a journal. Into disciplined self-confrontation. Into therapy, if needed, with someone bound by ethics, not social emotion. Process it where it can become strength. Because once you say the deepest thing too casually, you are no longer the only keeper of that pain. And if you want peace, there are some doors in your interior that should never have public handles. Now let's go somewhere even more socially dangerous. Because many men think the biggest risk is what they reveal about themselves. Sometimes the bigger risk is what they reveal about other people. Underscore 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 underscore. 4. Never reveal who you truly cannot stand. People think enemies are created by confrontation. Often, they are created by disclosure. A man vents. Quietly. Privately. To someone he trusts. He talks about the coworker who keeps undermining him with fake politeness. The relative who drains everyone while performing innocence. The old friend who can never celebrate his wins without making it about themselves. The manipulative person in the group who always finds a way to play victim and control the room. He says what he really thinks. Maybe not because he wants drama. Because he is exhausted. Because carrying the truth alone feels heavy. Because naming it feels like relief. And for a moment, it is. Then it travels. This is the law of social life most people keep forgetting. Information about other people has market value. It moves. It gets exchanged. Not always in betrayal, but in bonding. People use inside information to create closeness with someone else. They share it to appear trusted, to seem important, to deepen another conversation. And by the time your words return to the person they were about, they are no longer your words. They are distorted, stripped of context, sharpened for impact. Now you have a problem you did not intend to create. Not because your assessment was false. Because it became public currency. This is where stoic restraint becomes social intelligence. A disciplined man does not say everything true just because it is true. He understands timing, consequence, position. He knows that private accuracy can become public liability once it leaves his mouth. Marcus Aurelius dealt with corrupt men, vain men, arrogant men, selfish men. He wrote about expecting them. But notice what he did not do. He did not turn every irritation into public speech. He conserved energy by mastering response before expression. That is not suppression. That is strategic control. And Machiavelli would warn you even more bluntly. The line between friend and enemy is not fixed. It is conditional. Interests change. Power changes. Loyalty changes. Today's confidant can become tomorrow's leak, not always from malice, sometimes just from weak character. So if you tell someone exactly what you think of a third person, you are giving away something powerful, quoted hostility. And quoted hostility limits movement. It means you cannot walk freely into the room later. It means someone else can speak for you. It means your silence no longer protects you, because your opinions are already circulating without you. This is especially expensive in workplaces, family systems, business circles, and social groups where alliances shift quietly. One sentence, said in fatigue, can live for years inside structures you no longer control. That is why one of the most powerful things a man can become is difficult to quote. Not vague. Not cowardly. Difficult to quote. He sees clearly. He judges carefully. He moves accordingly. But he does not hand people verbal ammunition and then hope they stay honorable forever. If someone is toxic, let your boundary say it. If someone is false, let your distance say it. If someone is dangerous, let your precision say it. Your mouth does not need to do all the work. Because the moment your private judgment becomes someone else's story, you lose ownership of it. And that brings us to one of the heaviest burdens men carry in silence, the parts of themselves they wish the world never saw. Underscore 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 underscore. 5. Never confess your past sins to the wrong person. Every serious man has a private room in his history. Maybe not a crime. Maybe not something monstrous. But something real. A ruthless decision. A betrayal of your younger values. A season where survival made you colder than you want to admit. A move you made to win. A weakness you exploited. A person you used. A version of yourself that accomplished something, but at a moral cost you do not want permanently attached to your name. And if you have grown since then, that memory becomes heavy. Not because you are still that man. Because you remember being him. This is where many men make a costly mistake. They think confession to the wrong person will produce relief. They want to be fully seen and still loved. Fully exposed and still accepted. So in a moment that feels intimate, they open the room. I need to tell you something. There's something I've never told anyone. You have to understand who I really was. And what they are really asking for is redemption through witness. But most people cannot give you redemption. They can only give you memory. And memory, in the wrong hands, becomes leverage. Not always immediately. That's what makes it deceptive. At first, they may hold it gently. They may even comfort you. But later, if the relationship fractures, if power shifts, if conflict emerges, that confession does not disappear. It becomes available. Maybe not used publicly. Maybe not screamed in your face. Maybe just implied. A single sentence. A single reminder. A single look that says, I know what you did. That is enough to unbalance the room. History is full of men destroyed not by what they did, but by who they confessed it to. Thomas Cromwell understood the value of private information better than most rulers understood armies. Confession has always been a social instrument when removed from sacred or protected context. This is why Stoic maturity matters so much here. You do not process your past by handing it to unstable people and hoping tenderness lasts forever. You process it by becoming harder to recognize from the man who committed the act. You process it by carrying responsibility without turning your life into a theater of confession. There is a difference between guilt and growth. Guilt wants to speak. Growth wants to transform. The world will often tell you that radical transparency is automatically virtuous. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it is just undisciplined exposure disguised as authenticity. Not every truth belongs in casual human hands. What you did in the past should teach you, humble you, refine you, and, if necessary, break your pride. But it does not need to become relational collateral. If you truly need to process a serious burden, do it in a place structured to protect both truth and transformation. A therapist. A legal setting. A sacred context. A space with ethical boundaries. Everyone else does not need the production notes. They need the man you became after surviving the lesson. And now we come to the final secret. The most dangerous one. Because the first 5 protect you from being wounded. This one protects the future version of you from being suffocated before it arrives. Underscore 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 underscore. 6. Never reveal the full extent of your ambition. Most people can handle your current form. They know your present salary, your present habits, your present limits, your present role in the social hierarchy around them. They have calibrated to this version of you. What they cannot easily tolerate is the version of you that quietly exceeds the story they have already written. The version that becomes more disciplined than they expected. More powerful than they expected. More refined, more dangerous, more free, more strategic, more successful, more internally governed than anyone in your current circle is prepared to witness. That version disturbs people. Not always because they hate you. Often because your expansion exposes their stagnation. This is why announcing the full scale of your ambition is rarely wise. The moment you describe the mountain you intend to climb, people start measuring your every current step against the peak. And if you are still far away, as all real builders are in the beginning, your process gets mistaken for failure. This is one of the quiet cruelties of social life. People do not know how to respect invisible becoming. They respect visible arrival. A man says, "I'm going to build something massive." A year later, he's still in process. The room starts whispering. Maybe he overestimated himself. I always thought it sounded unrealistic. He talks big. But if the same man had said nothing and simply arrived stronger, richer, wiser, calmer, more capable, more feared, more grounded, the same people would call him exceptional. That is the difference between declared ambition and protected ambition. Stoicism teaches you to detach from the opinions of those who do not carry your burden. That includes their praise, their doubt, and their timeline for your becoming. Your ambition is not a public event. It is an internal command. And Machiavelli would sharpen that insight. Once the court knows your true ceiling, the court begins responding to you as a future threat. Think about that. If people sense you only as you are today, many will relax. If they sense what you are actually building, some will mock you and others will quietly prepare against you. That is why great ambition often needs camouflage. Not fake modesty. Not pretending to be small. Camouflage. You let people see enough to remain operational. But not enough to let them form organized resistance against the fullest version of your rise. Alexander the Great understood this. Strategic thought was not something he laid open for group discussion. Vision remained compressed until execution. Why? Because once a plan is revealed too early, every weak mind gets a vote and every threatened mind gets motivation. And threatened minds are common. In the modern world, this happens in painfully ordinary ways. You tell people you want to become financially sovereign, and they treat you like a dreamer. You say you want to transform your body, and they joke to keep you average. You say you want to master yourself, grow your business, lead, create, write, build, dominate your field, change your bloodline, and suddenly people who love the old you become strangely uncomfortable. Why? Because your ambition is not just a goal. It is an accusation. It silently asks everyone around you, what have you done with your life? That question makes many people defensive. So they reduce your vision before it reduces their excuses. This is why you must protect the deepest scale of what you are building. Let them see the next step. Do not let them see the final architecture. Let them notice change. Do not give them the full blueprint. Let them watch you evolve. Do not ask them to believe in something they are emotionally invested in not understanding. Because the truest forms of transformation happen in protected territory. At the gym before dawn. At the desk after midnight. In the lonely seasons where no one is clapping. In the years where your exterior looks normal but your interior is reorganizing at a level the world will only understand later. That is where real lives are built. And when the result finally arrives, let it arrive all at once to the eyes of those who never saw the private construction. That shock matters. That distance matters. That distance is proof that your silence held. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. The 6 secrets that protect a man's inner territory. So let's bring it all together. The first secret is your next move. Because early exposure weakens fragile momentum. The second is your real financial reality. Because once people know your number, they start relating to your utility. The third is your deepest insecurity. Because what feels like intimacy today can become precision pain tomorrow. The fourth is who you truly cannot stand. Because private opinions about other people become social currency fast. The fifth is your past sins and transgressions. Because confession to the wrong person does not create freedom, it creates collateral. And the sixth, most important of all, is the full extent of your ambition. Because the future version of you must be protected from present minds that cannot hold it without resisting it. These are not secrets you keep because you are cowardly. They are secrets you keep because they belong to your inner territory. And a man who does not guard his inner territory eventually lives on terms created by other people. That is the deeper lesson here. Information is power. Not because information makes you look mysterious. Because information determines how others position themselves around you. The more unnecessary access you give, the easier you become to predict. The easier you become to predict, the easier you become to manage. And the easier you become to manage, the easier you become to use. Stoicism teaches self-command. Machiavelli teaches strategic concealment. Together, they teach a hard but liberating truth. You do not need to be fully known to be fully real. You do not need to explain everything to be honest. You do not need to display your whole soul to prove your heart is clean. And you do not need to hand people the keys to your interior and call it authenticity. Some things grow better in silence. Some wounds heal better in silence. Some ambitions survive only in silence. So if this message found you at the right moment, if part of you suddenly remembered a conversation you wish you could take back, a detail you revealed too early, a person you trusted too deeply, do not waste that recognition. Use it. Not to become paranoid. Not to become bitter. But to become more deliberate. More disciplined with your mouth. More selective with your trust. More sovereign with what belongs to you. Because in a world that constantly pressures you to reveal, overshare, perform, explain, and emotionally undress yourself on command, restraint is rebellion. And sometimes, restraint is survival. Underscore 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 underscore. If this video spoke to something real in your life, leave a like, not out of habit, but as a signal that this kind of clarity matters. Subscribe to StoicCraft if you want more videos that bring ancient discipline into the hidden mechanics of modern life. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 6 secrets do you think people give away too easily, and which one have you learned to protect the hard way? Read the comments too. You may realize you are not the only one learning this lesson later than you wanted. And remember, the man who guards his inner territory cannot be easily mapped. The man who cannot be easily mapped cannot be easily manipulated. And the man who cannot be easily manipulated is already far more powerful than he looks.